Mike, thank you. If you have to call 911, how quickly will help be able to find you?
A News 5 investigation discovered dispatchers don't always know exactly where you are. Chief Investigative Reporter Eric Ross in studio tonight to reveal why that is and what you need to remember so help can get to you faster. Eric.
Rob and Elizabeth, good evening. Google Maps, Uber, and Lyft know our exact location. So why doesn't 911? We uncovered it's a problem dispatch centers across the nation are facing. Tonight, we're taking you behind the scenes to show you the challenges dispatchers are up against and provide you with information you need to know that could save your life.
Pueblo County 911, where's your emergency? Did you happen to get a license plate on it?
When you call for help,
So is it on your right-hand side then, if you're going east?
911 computer systems
What is your address out there on 209?
can't always find you,
And you said the vehicle is on its side? Don't hang up, okay?
and the problem has proven deadly more than once.
911 was the address of the emergency. I'm in a car in a lake.
Take the case of Chanel Anderson. She was delivering newspapers in the middle of the night when she slid off the road and into a lake just outside Atlanta.
Where are you? Fairway
and Batesville.
Batesville and what?
No, Fairway is the street, ma'am.
Fairway, I don't have that.
For several minutes, dispatchers struggled to find her.
I'm moving it out very quickly.
Give me the address one more time. It's not working.
Chanel ultimately drowned. And then there's the case of Cincinnati teenager Kyle Plush.
I'm gonna die here.
Kyle was parked outside his school in his family's minivan and somehow got trapped underneath the rear seat bench, his phone out of reach, but he was able to use voice commands to call for help.
I'm stuck in my van outside the 7 Hills Hotel parking lot.
What is the address?
The line disconnects. 911 calls back, but the phone call goes unanswered. 9 minutes later, Kyle makes a second call to 911.
I probably don't have much time left to tell my mom that I love her if I die.
Responders never got an exact location. Nearly 6 hours after the teen's first call to 911, his father found him dead in the van. The tragic death involving Kyle happened nearly 1 year ago, but the drowning of Chanel Anderson happened more than 4 years ago. You'd think by now the 911 system nationwide would be fixed, so dispatchers know exactly where you are. But that's not the case.
We get an address initially, it's just not, it's the tower address.
Lisa Shorter oversees the Pueblo County Dispatch Center. She allowed us to go behind the scenes to show you the challenges dispatchers face, especially when someone is calling from a cell phone.
It takes about 10 seconds, sometimes 20, before we actually have a better address based on the triangulation.
Initially, a cell phone call will ping off a nearby tower, which could be miles away from where you actually are. With the help of Pueblo County dispatchers, we had 2 News 5 employees sit in their cars at 2 different locations and call 911 from 2 different phones. Josh is located at the Pueblo Reservoir, and Patrick is in a hotel parking lot in Pueblo West.
I'm calling to see what my location's pinging in at.
During Josh's first call to 911,
Okay, this phone's coming in as a phase 1. It's hitting the tower over on Eagle's Nest.
the call immediately pings off a cell tower nearly 3 miles away. About 20 seconds pass before the computer system refreshes itself.
There we go. And now I'm getting it down at the South Marina at Pueblo Reservoir.
We had much better results on our second trial run.
It's coming in within 14 meters of South Marina Road and Reservoir Road. We got the location of the phone right away as opposed to the tower location.
Next, we had Patrick call 911.
It's coming in at 96 East Spalding Avenue in the corner of Croydon and Spalding in Pueblo West.
Close, but not exact. Patrick is actually located at the corner of Spalding and Radnor.
So it was here within the yellow area. It's within 100 meters.
100 meters may not sound like a big difference, but if you're in a larger, more congested area, dispatchers may not be able to know what building or parking lot you're in.
Pueblo County 911, this is Teresa.
And on the fourth call to 911, our location initially pinged off a cell phone tower at Palmer Lake in Del Norte, about a mile away from our actual location. After the system did not refresh quick enough, the dispatcher had to manually refresh it.
I decided to do the manual rebid because it was taking too long for the system to do it automatically. And once I did that, it came up exactly where he said he was, at Radnor and Spalding, within 2 meters.
Dispatchers are able to get exact locations from landline telephones, but research shows more than 85% of all calls to 911 are placed from mobile devices. It's 2019. If Uber, Lyft, Waze, all of these applications know exactly where I'm at, how come dispatchers don't always know exactly where I'm at?
Security, of course, for the cell phone carriers of their customers' data is a priority. And so historically, Apple has been very reluctant to turn over any kind of information like that without just cause.
Cell phone privacy settings coupled with outdated dispatch computer technology is to blame. Out of the 20,000 plus calls dispatchers took last year in Pueblo County, about 600 were off the grid, meaning dispatchers never could get the exact caller's location and at times couldn't hear whether anyone was on the line. Now, it is rare for dispatchers not to get any location for a caller, but sometimes even approximate locations can prove problematic. Listen to Teresa as she answers a real 911 call.
Is this out toward the KOA campground that's out there?
A driver called to report a rollover accident, but Teresa is having to ask a series of questions to find out where exactly to dispatch first responders.
Okay, I'm sorry, George, what was that second letter? The vehicle is on its side, and you said you smell gasoline. Can you tell where that's coming from?
Eventually, she is able to send help.
Just got a report of a truck that's on its side out on Highway 50. It's going to be between Swallows Road and the KOA out there.
There's been a long battle over whether someone's location should be disclosed to 911 in the event the caller cannot tell dispatchers where they are, but this is all about to change.
There's an expressed consent when you dial 911, right? You're implying that you want 911 to come help you.
Pueblo County Dispatch is about to undergo major mapping system upgrades later this year, which will not only allow dispatchers to know your exact latitude and longitude coordinates, but also what floor of a building you're calling from. And it will no longer matter whether you're calling from an iPhone or Android device.
It'll actually let us tap into the technology similar to Uber and Lyft,
allowing dispatchers to have precise coordinates instead of relying on cell phone towers to find your location.
So when we have an address, it's so much easier. And when we don't, we rely a lot on the citizens, knowing exactly what mile marker you've recently passed, what landmark you're by.
It could mean the difference between life and death. And if you can't remember landmarks or mile markers, dispatchers say major cross streets can be helpful when driving, or if you're out hiking, know the name of the trail you're on. Now, Rob and Elizabeth, I know a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute, the woman who drowned in Atlanta actually gave the dispatcher cross streets, and that's true. But unfortunately, her call pinged off a tower in a neighboring county and got routed to a dispatch center outside of the jurisdiction she was in.
Those stories were so heartbreaking, and it does bring up a concerning question. How often do these calls get rerouted to other dispatch centers, and why is that happening?
Well, if you call from a city or county line or near a city or county line, that could make a big difference. It could ping off a tower in a different region miles away. In fact, it happened once during our 1-hour session inside the dispatch center. The good news, dispatchers can connect those callers with the appropriate center. They don't have to call back, but again, we're talking about time here. All of these problems are being addressed. Dispatch centers nationwide are in the process of making upgrades, including right here in Colorado Springs. And when those upgrades are complete, we'll be sure to let our viewers know. But bottom line here, people are so reliant on cell phone technology, they really need to be aware of their surroundings.
Good story, Eric.
Yeah, very informative.
Thank you.